Live from the broadcast center in Los Angeles, this is KCAL9 News at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sandra Mitchell in for Lena Wynn.
And I'm Juan Fernandez. We begin KCAL9 News at 4 with breaking news from the Bay Area. At least one person is dead and at least 3 others are hurt after someone opened fire at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno.
KCAL9's Crystal Cruz is live in the newsroom now, and she's got an update for us. Crystal?
Sandra and Juan, the San Bruno police chief says a woman who died of self-inflicted gunshot wounds was possibly the shooter. There are 3 people being treated at San Francisco General Hospital, 2 women and a man. A law enforcement source tells CBS News that the wounded man is believed to be the suspected shooter's boyfriend. Police say this all started around 12:45 after several shots were fired at the outdoor cafe on YouTube's campus. Employees began fleeing after someone pulled the fire alarm and heard the gunfire. Police cleared the area and began searching for victims and the suspect. At least one of the victims is in serious condition. Witnesses shared what they saw.
Man, it was just like 2-3 shots. And then like within 30 seconds after that, or 40 seconds after that, then I seen the girl running out. And then she was shot in the leg. Then the other people that were behind me, they opened the doors, let her in, pulled her in, and they grabbed a bunch of napkins. So I come back and I checked on the girl. Then after I checked on the girl, she all right? She yeah, she got shot in the leg. So then I ran back over there, and then I'm looking inside, and then I'm looking. Then the other guy goes, "Oh, he just shot the other person," and that person got shot 10 times.
Well, I saw the victim. She was in the dining room, and she had a leg injury. That's a gunshot wound. So I put like a tourniquet on her to try to help her. The ambulance came, and then they took her away, put a real tourniquet on her.
Somebody else said that he had a pistol. I'm not sure.
So you never?
I never saw the gun. I can't confirm anything about the weapon that he had. All I can confirm is that somebody appeared to have a bullet wound on his stomach, and he was laying on the outside courtyard, and he wasn't moving.
YouTube's parent company, Google, released a statement saying, "We advised all other employees in the Bay Area and people with meetings scheduled to stay away from the area, and that there is no need to take any action. We have provided employees a helpline." Right now, Homeland Security and FBI agents are on the campus searching the area. Police have not released the identity of the woman found dead, who they believe may be the shooter, and a motive still unclear. I'm Crystal Cruz in the newsroom. Back to you guys.
All right, Crystal, thanks. YouTube does have an office here in Los Angeles, and you can only imagine what it was like for people working there when they heard the news from the Bay Area.
KCAL9's Joy Benedict is live there at the YouTube offices in Playa Vista. Joy, what's it like there?
Yeah, certainly unimaginable to hear of any office shooting, but one that belongs to your company. Well, a lot of people were not expecting that and chose to leave this facility. Now, this is YouTube Space LA. You can see the sign on the door simply says reception closed after all of this took place. But take a look at this video, as we did see a couple of people leaving not too long after the shooting took place. But for the most part, this place is pretty empty. A lot of the lights off in the offices, nobody in the parking lot, nobody on the campus after this shooting. What they do here at YouTube Space LA is it's a 41,000 square foot facility, basically providing stages and green screens and cameras and editing equipment for folks who use the YouTube page. If they have 10,000 or more subscribers, they can come here and they can use this space for free. Although most of the people coming in to use the facility do not work here full time. For the few that do work here full time, we were told that when the shooting happened, they were given the option to leave or to stay.
No, they didn't send anyone home. People chose, people went home if they wanted to go home, but people stayed. I stayed because I had work to do.
And that employee who's been here 2 years and didn't want to give us his name tells us that the majority of the people who were inside the building when the shooting happened simply wanted to leave. As I said, just an unimaginable experience for employees of this company, regardless of whether you're up north, you're down here, or anywhere in the world that YouTube has an office. You can imagine their thoughts and prayers are for their fellow employees up in Northern California. Guys.
All right, Joy, thanks for the update there. President Trump tweeting about the shooting just about an hour ago. He said was just briefed on the shooting at YouTube's headquarters in San Bruno, California. Our thoughts and prayers are with everybody involved. Thank you to our phenomenal law enforcement officers and first responders that are currently on the scene.
And we will have continuing coverage of today's shooting at YouTube headquarters throughout the newscast and ahead on CBS 2 News at 5 and 6 p.m.
Well, police are searching for the woman who stole a car in Van Nuys with a baby in the back seat. They found the baby still in the car. That child is safe, but the woman is still on the loose. KCAL9's Dave Lopez live in Van Nuys, where mom and baby were reunited. Dave?
Well, there's not much to go on, as you're right, Sandra. The woman who stole that car, we do not know. Police do not know if she knew that the baby was in the back seat, but regardless, she's still on the lam. Behind me is the Van Nuys substation for the LAPD, where the mother and the little 11-month-old baby boy were reunited. The little boy is fine. He was checked out of the hospital. He's okay. And mom, a very young mother, is breathing a sigh of relief. Did you leave the car running and go inside?
Yeah.
How long was the car unattended, roughly?
Like 7 minutes.
Paula, she asked us not to use her last name, is reunited with her son at the Van Nuys Police Department, 11-month-old Leo. And she said what happened this morning made her heart stop. How far away were you?
Just like maybe 8-10 feet away.
She explained to me that she was picking up her older son to go to the doctor's on Galt Avenue in Van Nuys. She kept the motor running, and little Leo was in the back seat in his car seat. She said she kept looking at the car to make sure that little Leo in the back seat was okay. All of a sudden, she said, someone was in the car. She didn't know it was a woman, and the car was gone. She started running after the car, yelling. Then she realized it was hopeless, and then she dialed 911.
I was just praying and hoping for the best and having faith that God would find him.
Less than 2 hours after all this happened, her prayers were answered, thanks to this alert plumber less than 2 miles away.
Well, we were at work and we saw a baby in the car, so it didn't look right.
Ralph Salajanian said the windows were down and the baby looked like he had just awakened. And he knew something was wrong, so he called 911.
Said, I want to grab the baby. The dispatch told me, wait, let me check the license plate before you grab the baby. So she checked the license plate. She said, oh my God, don't go near the car.
He said less than a minute later, sirens blaring, the LAPD arrived, and little Leo was rescued.
I wanted to hug the baby, but I did.
Well, you feel like a guy who did something really special?
Yeah, of course. Everybody's supposed to do that once they see a baby in the car.
You had no idea who this woman was?
No.
No axe to grind against you, nothing?
No, nothing.
Just out of the clear blue?
Yes.
You ever going to do this again?
No. That's why it's a learning lesson, and for everyone also, like, to not do that, you know, even if you're going in your house for a second, to get anything like a sweater or their diaper bag or something, to take them with you.
As she said, lesson learned. The search goes on for that woman. As you can see by that smiling face, little 11-month-old Leo's doing just fine. Yeah. Back to you.
He's a cutie, and I bet mom's not going to take her eyes off him for a while. All right. Dave, thanks. A burning car could lead to a murder mystery. Fire crews found a burned-out car in a shopping mall parking lot, and there was a body inside. KCAL9's Jasmine Veal has the latest now from Bell Gardens.
I heard like a big bang. It even shook the house.
Lisandro Reynoso says he didn't know the explosions he heard a little after 2 a.m. were coming from this car on fire across the street from his house, or that there was a burning body inside.
I didn't look outside, but it just, the sound was pretty strange.
Just before 3 a.m., Bell Gardens police started getting phone calls of the Toyota on fire in the parking lot of the shopping center off Florence and Eastern Avenues. Firefighters made the gruesome discovery.
And they noticed that there was a person that was in the backseat of a vehicle. That person was unconscious.
Sheriff detectives and arson investigators are now trying to figure out if this was an accident or a homicide.
It's really actually the first time something like this has happened.
Other neighbors say they would like to see more security around here.
They used to have lights out there, but not anymore.
The LA County Sheriff says the body is so badly burned it's hard to tell how the person was killed or who they were. Detectives are also looking at fresh tire marks left on the pavement near where the car was parked. Firefighters were called in to cut off the doors to that car so that investigators can get a closer look at the back seat. Still trying to figure out if the victim was a man or a woman and how this fire started. Neighbors also point out right across the street is the Bicycle Hotel and Casino, and a lot of those customers come here to sleep or hang out. Here in Bell Gardens, Jasmine Veal, KCAL9 News.
A new state bill was introduced today that would restrict when police officers can use deadly force. Lawmakers say the bill would change state laws so that officers can only use lethal force when necessary instead of reasonable. The proposal comes after 22-year-old Stefan Clark was shot and killed by police in his grandmother's Sacramento backyard. The bill's authors say they want deadly force to be a last resort and not a first response.
We're not saying that law enforcement officers can never use deadly force. I want to stress that. Deadly force can be used, but only when it is completely necessary.
This is a win. This is a good thing for everybody in these incidents. And if we can implement laws that are safer and more humane, why wouldn't we?
State lawmakers say police departments which have focused on de-escalation have had fewer killings. The LA Police Union says the bill will put officers in further danger and is about political expediency and not sound public policy.
Looks like President Trump wants the U.S. military to guard the border with Mexico. He says until the wall is built, he wants the military in place. Angelica Alvarez has more now on the president's plan.
Okay, thank you very much.
President Trump zeroed in on strong borders after a White House meeting with the Baltic heads of state.
It's like we have no border.
Hours earlier, in a series of tweets, Mr. Trump warned Mexico that cash cow NAFTA was in play if it failed to stop the caravan of immigrants heading to our weak law's border.
NAFTA is a phenomenal deal for Mexico. It's been a horrible deal for the United States. We're renegotiating it now.
Mr. Trump said the Obama-era policy critics call catch and release was a failure. He announced a new step to stop the flow of illegal immigrants.
We're going to be guarding our border with the military.
The White House is also considering new immigration legislation that would make it tougher for immigrants to apply for asylum, eliminate protections for certain children so they can be removed quickly, and keep families in detention for longer periods of time while their case moves through the immigration process.
We cannot have people flowing into our country illegally, disappearing, and by the way, never showing up to court.
With the cameras rolling today, President Trump also went after China to reduce what he calls a $500 billion a year trade deficit.
We have a problem with China. They've created a trade deficit, and I really blame our representatives and, frankly, our preceding presidents for this.
Mr. Trump is expected to announce additional tariffs against Chinese goods this week. Angelica Alvarez, Washington.
Coming up next at 4, we will continue our coverage of today's shooting at YouTube headquarters.
Also, a waterslide engineer now arrested for murder in connection with the death of a young boy who died on a slide that he designed.
And Tesla dealing a recall of one model and concerns about production of another. What the high-tech automaker is saying.
And a live look outside where it's still a little bit hazy in some parts here in the Southland. Live look at Santa Monica. I'll tell you about the rain headed our way.